Today's seminar is themed Where AI Research Meets Understanding, from texts to trusted referencing. This theme highlights one of the most important challenges of our digital age: how to move beyond simply generating information with artificial intelligence to understanding, evaluating, and referencing it responsibly for academic and professional purposes. So we are privileged to have our guest lecturer or speaker, Mr. Anthony Obineme, a growth marketer, AI prompt engineer, and visual creator, as our speaker. He will share practical insight on the effective use of AI tools for research, learning, and content creation. We're equally honored to have in our midst today our dear head of department, Professor George Odoh. And of course, the main organizer, Professor Ikwuemesi, is here with us. So I'll be handing over the microphone to the HOD to make a short speech before we hand over to Professor Ikwuemesi.
Yeah, okay, good morning, everybody. Just like Professor Emeka Nwigwe said, I think he has actually introduced what we have come to do here today. But on behalf of the Department of Fine and Industrial Arts, I warmly welcome you to this workshop on AI. I don't think it is even really necessary to overstate the importance of AI in research. Of course, we've seen what AI can do in terms of content creation. I know at some point I saw on Facebook, Ikwuemesi even singing Michael Jackson's song with the aid of AI. But I don't think that is what this workshop is all about. And I'm particularly pleased because this is also building on the kind of intellectual atmosphere that the department has been trying to promote in a couple of weeks now. Yesterday we had an intellectual gathering that focused on visual art practice, particularly ceramics art, and it was quite interesting for those who were part of that discussion. So this is also building on that, and it is something that we believe that beyond the department, it is something that we can also make to become a tradition at the faculty level, where academics can gather and discuss issues that are very pertinent to their development as academics. We are all aware of what AI can do generally, even when it comes to academics in terms of generating information. But what this workshop tries to do is to move it beyond that level, where AI can become a tool that can be used responsibly, in research and innovation, to be able to generate ideas and also provide adequate and relevant resources and references that can validate what it has generated. And I know that it's one technology that every academic should become familiar with. I know that when new things come, it's always hard for people to familiarize themselves with that, but for us in the academic environment, AI is something that if we utilize and use responsibly, it is something that can help us to advance, for those, writing papers for appraisal and all that. There are quite a number of challenges that we all face when it comes to writing. So I hope that we all will pay particular attention to what the presenter is going to present, so that at the end of this workshop, we all can say that we are going home having learned something that will actually help us fulfill the task that we have come here to do. So I warmly welcome you. We have already wasted time not starting the 11 o'clock that this event was proposed. So I'm not going to take much of your time, but for us to sit back and pay attention to what we are going to learn here today. So thank you all for coming. Though I will still express my disappointment that for a forum like this that is quite beneficial, not for only those who teach, but for even those who are doing postgraduate studies and even undergraduate studies, I was expecting that we are going to have a very full house. But notwithstanding, for those who have been able to make our time to be here today, I know that just like they say in crusades, you are not going to go back the same as when you came. So thank you all for coming, and I hope we have a wonderful time.
Professor Krydz, please.
Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen. I want to join the head of department in welcoming everybody who has come, professors, friends, colleagues, PG students, everybody to this seminar. This is part of our regular PG seminars, which hold on Thursdays here. So once in a while, we do something special like we are doing today, trying to go beyond our usual encounter with our PG students who have to present their work and their seminars from time to time. This is more like an impromptu arrangement because maybe 2 months, 3 months ago, it wasn't in the plans. I was going through Facebook on a certain day, and I encountered somebody who was showing a few things he had done with AI, and I said, we talked a bit. I said, who are you? He said he read history here. He left last year. He's trying to build an AI profile. And I quickly thought about it. I said, can you come and talk to us a little about what you have done? And he agreed. So we started working towards that. Of course, like the head of department has said, AI is quite an open field, a bit virgin, especially to us in Africa, because part of the post-colonial reality and the experience is that Africa was once colonized, and you cannot change that status. And part of the reality of post-coloniality is that we will continue to pursue the West, trying to catch up. So once anything happens from there, what follows is that we, formerly colonized, will try to catch up. So we are trying to catch up with the AI experience and get used to it. I remember my experience when I was living in Japan, and somebody was giving a talk and was telling us how they reacted when computers first reared up their heads in the 70s, and people were saying Japanese language was going to die. He said they went back into their laboratories and came out with solutions. So if you are in Japan and you have a computer, as you are punching, You see the normal English alphabet, you see the Japanese one. Unless you go and set it, it will be giving you, their own. And you are talking about 945 alphabets. We are managing 26 as part of the colonial legacy, and it has been very difficult. So they were able to surmount that problem. But when you talk about transitions, at times it's very difficult to handle it here, to migrate from one level of experience to another, especially because of our environment, the realities of our environment, the hangover, or what you may call colonial continuum, because at times we say post-colonial. For me, I keep arguing there's no post-colonial. What we see is neo-colonial, and it comes in different guises, from inside, from outside, and at times you can also talk about shelter colonization. I studied the Ainu of Japan, the Aborigines of Japan, and somewhere along their history, they'll tell you about shelter colonization. That was the first time I had that term. But I think we have that experience here too. When you are colonized by your own people, your own self, and all that. That is what we are going through here. So things become very difficult. I know we can argue that, the man who is thinking about the next meal, these are things some other civilizations have got over. Here, for instance, if you are going to eat chicken, it's a big thing. But there are places you go to, chicken is the cheapest thing you can find. So we are not talking of chicken. You are talking of how to eat basic meals. And you want the person to get all the equipment for to be internet savvy, laptop, camera, there are places you can be. You want to buy a phone, you can pay for 2 years. They give it to you, the money is dropping. But here, you have to break a bank to be able to go and get what you need. So the difficulties are there in general terms, but I think that for us who are in the academic circle, in the academic environment, these are necessities. We don't have any other hoe. We don't have any other cutlass, except some of the things I have mentioned. But you find people who do not, care, even in the era of books, when it was fashionable, necessary that academics should have books. You visit people in their offices. The shelves are empty. They have nothing. So it means you have come to work without the necessary tools. So even if we cannot afford the next meal, and it is obvious we cannot, because I keep telling people academics are poor. They call you professor, they call you whatever. You are part of the poorest people in the world, because Nigerian academics are one of the most poorly paid everywhere. You are earning $500. Where does that happen? Under the sun. But that is what we are in, and you are supposed to buy laptops, you buy books, you pay for journals, especially in this era of so-called impact factor. You see somebody, you are going to publish 200,000, you haven't fed your family. But it's still a necessity that you continue to move on. And all that has introduced cancer, corruption into the system. We have to face it. There are people who have 20 papers. Go and ask him what is there. He can't talk about it because he didn't write the papers. But impact factor, impact factor. That is all we care about now, not the quality of what is produced or given. So the point I'm making is that we need to help ourselves in spite of our reality. There are people here in this university who do not know, professors who do not know how to use laptops. How do you handle that? You are telling them to do internet. And now they have to face AI. I have come across people, you say, have you seen your WhatsApp today? No, I've not entered. That is the usual language. I've not entered yet. I say, will you break your WhatsApp with the axe or hammer before you enter? As an academic, as you are working, your phone should be there. You don't know when they say, especially in this era of banditry and insecurity. If they say run, you don't know. You'll be there. So we need to be more careful. I'm not saying do what I'm doing, but each time I'm working, my phone is there. That is why most of you who have encountered me or had exchange, if you write, I'm replying immediately. Unless I see it's not important. I wait for later in the day. As the messages are coming, you are replying. You are up to date. So I think we need to. And it also goes down to the system. How does the system operate? 2012, I was coordinator in the GS, and they were employing. They called us to come and sit in the interview. Somebody comes in and you say, you are going to work in the dean's office. They say, what is booting? She didn't know what was booting. How do you boot a computer that you'll work with? She didn't know, and they gave her a smooth passage as we were, shrugging in horror and disappointment. A principal officer who was there, probably the number 2 person, the number 3, said that, quickly asked her, you don't know it now, but you will learn it on the job. She said yes. And they allowed her to pass. And she went in to go and create havoc, because that is essentially what it is. Until she gets over that problem, she's going to create havoc. I've been in a situation where they were interviewing academics. And they say, IT question. Ask her, what is your email address? Even chickens will have email addresses, and they will remember them at all times. So you ask somebody who has come to work for 40 years, you're asking him or her email address as IT question. And as I quickly said, I don't agree with this. We should look for more serious questions. And the person in charge said, Professor Ikwuemesi, give us questions. I said, I'm not in IT. I'm just making a suggestion. I think you should ask them how IT can help their professions and their teaching as teachers. It wasn't done. So these are some of the issues we face. And I keep saying it anywhere I have the opportunity. A job that somebody will do for 40 years and you interview for 5 minutes, that is disaster. That is travesty of what it should be. I'm happy that in 2019, I keep recounting the experience. I was frustrated. I don't know whether I still am here. And I applied to go from so-called associate professor to senior lecturer at SOAS. And to show you how serious it was, they paid my flight to come. 3 days of hotel. What was the interview like? A whole day. From 9 o'clock, I had to walk from the hotel to the place professors, everybody was there. The first panel, they ask you questions. Of course, I had to prepare my curriculum in the aircraft as I was traveling. I was lucky that the person who was resigning from the position was my friend, and he said, "This is what I've been teaching with. You can customize it to what you want." And I did. You know, you come there, you talk to them. Another set of people come in, they talk to you up till 3 in the, around 3, another group. PG students, masters, PhD, technical people, non-academics in the department will come and talk to you. So you have that, you feel that something happened, and you know this job, when you bring in people at the level of 5 minutes, that is disaster, generational disaster. That is what we are cutting. And you see the results, that people cannot use their phones beyond making calls and chatting. People cannot, do a number of things that can be done by their counterparts in other places. And we are now faced with the challenge of AI, because you cannot ignore it. And unlike the general internet and some of the other things, WhatsApp and the social media, you find out that this is going to bring a foundational challenge. Because these days you give an assignment. Maybe, for instance, I have books I bought as a junior academics, loads of them that I have not read. When students come, if I think it's in your area, I say, go and look at this, But now you give assignments. You come to class, the students has gone to find it in AI without any effort, and is presenting that to you. And part of the annoying part is that they don't even know how to synthesize it. It's just garbage in, garbage out. He gets that, and I get very angry. I say, I have not said don't use AI. I remember once I put my name in AI. Up till a point, it was giving accurate information until it says something which I found outrageous. Maybe I was from somewhere else where I was not from. If you were researching on somebody and you didn't have some background facts, it can give you that kind of garbage, and you go and submit it to people who know. So we are not saying we will not use, but we have to use the human content, the human essence will still have to come in. But I want us to recognize that we are challenged. Academics, artists, everybody, so that we can brace up for this. I'm not saying that this seminar is going to be one noya. When you live here, you become expert. It's just to keep us thinking. I'm not beyond the theme. The presentation is left for the presenter, to just take us around, provoke our thoughts in the right direction, so that beyond here, we can begin to think. The other day I was somewhere, AI, it's Chat GPT. Somebody say, what is Chat GPT? One of the senior colleagues in that place, what is Chat GPT? And I call and you become worried. Even if you are not using it, you should know the name. So what we have come here today is just to be presented with a capsule of about AI. But it's also worrisome, as the head of department said, that you don't find the people. It's like the man in the Bible when they say, you have prepared a banquet, the people for whom the banquet is set are not there. So what can you do? I was expecting that most of my PhD students will be here, masters, and of course, other students from the department. I'm sure if you go to some of the studios, they are there, fiddling with one thing or the other. Ijenuku fruit in front of the department, you may catch some of them eating granite because they don't consider this important. That is the type of world we live in. For some of us working, as far as the salary is coming, to hell with every other thing. But I keep saying, if you have 40 years to stay here, if you have 10, if you have 5, if you have 1, begin to think of your legacy. What will you leave here? What impact have you made? Will you have made by the time you exit this place as an academic environment? Let me not take much of our time. I want to use the opportunity to thank the head of department for keying into this. It's not everybody you run to. He didn't say that. Immediately I came, what can we do? I must confess, he has given quite generous support. I want to thank my former student, Udechukwu, who left here probably 2003. But each time you call him, he always responds. Somebody who understands the logic and philosophy of giving back to society. And of course, others. I should mention that Gerald also has a prize here, which he gives every year, 150,000, with an exhibition that goes with it. The winner has an exhibition organized, and then he or she gets the prize. I want to thank others. Some of my students keyed in, take this, take that, to help with refreshment. So I want to say a big thank you as we welcome the presenter. Most times when you expect presentations, especially in academic environment, you are looking with you are looking for somebody with gray hairs, bushy hair, and maybe comb in the pocket so he can comb the hair from time to time. Like I said, he is the fresh graduate of history. Interestingly, Professor Chime is here, Amaichi is here, his former head of department. Let us listen to him and see what he has to offer, especially in the spirit of generational conversation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, esteemed ladies and gentlemen. I'm really glad to have you guys in this space. And first of all, my name is Obineme Anthony Chetana. I am a graduate of UNN, studied history and international studies, graduated last year. So as the professor actually talked about, he came across some of my works on Facebook and we started talking from there. And I kind of evaluated on some things that AI can actually do right now. And we're actually in the AI bubble right now, based on so many things. It's already in every industry right now, in the marketing industry, e-commerce, educational industry. It has spanned across a lot of industry right now. And companies right now are also taking the shift when it comes to using all these tools in works. So a lot of people are saying that AI are taking jobs. Actually, that's not the correct phrase. The correct phrase is that people that know how to use AI would take your jobs. Because for AI to be able to work, it still needs human input. Although right now we are in a phase whereby AI no longer needs human input for it to work. So we came up with this idea to come here and have this conversation about open our eyes about how AI is transforming in every sector. So that's why I came here to discuss about that, and I decided to use this opportunity to bring to light everything about AI has to offer. So first of all, I will say that I am an AI prompt engineer. I'm currently working for a UK brand called Oya Media, and also an AI video instructor for a company called AQ Skills. So basically what I do for the company is I provide courses for them on AI, generative AI. And they buy those courses in which they use those courses to teach beginners that are kind of like moving into the AI space. So I have collaborated with another brand called Bioferox. It's a supplementary brand based in Lagos. So I was in charge of their visual marketing. I used AI in making their brand visibility, graphic designing, videos, carousels, brand campaigns, and whatnot. Now, I also want to explain that when it comes to the sectors I'm talking about, AI has helped in reducing costs when it comes to making campaigns. I mean, for example, if you want to make any marketing campaigns, you would definitely need a videographer. You would definitely need an influencer. So now AI has bridged that gap. So most companies are no longer hiring videographers. Most companies are no longer hiring influencers. So it brings to what I say that AI is now changing the sectors. So instead of them paying millions or hundreds of thousands to influencers or videographers or actors in marketing their brand, they use AI in doing that. And it's very possible. And it will just take you 10 to 30 minutes and you've generated your marketing visuals for what you want to do. Same thing with graphic designing. So many tech skills that we know of now, graphic designing, UI, UX design, and a lot of them, all of them are being shaken by AI right now, because all these things can actually be done with AI with the right tools. Now, I said before that it still needs human input, but we've already reached to the era whereby AI no longer needs human input to function. All you just have to do is give it your ideas, and within 10 to 30 minutes, your ideas is already out. So I'm going to be showing a few things that I want to show you guys. So it says, the theme of the flyer says, where AI meets understanding from text to trusted referencing. Basically, we're going to be talking about that. But before we go into that, I want us to dive into the next slide, which talk about what is AI all about. Now, it said that AI refers to systems that can simulate human intelligence by learning, reasoning, and generating output like text, images, videos, and decision. Now, AI does not think like humans. It recognizes patterns from data and uses them to generate results. Now, basically, what this is trying to say is that before AI works, it works on data that is being fed to it. So it uses data that is available, that is being fed to it, to be able to generate any output that it wants to do. Now, the emergence of AI has three major phases. The rule-based system, which is the early automation, that the early bubble that we experienced when ChatGPT came up. The machine learning, the data-driven predictions, which is currently the era that we are in right now, whereby you can use ChatGPT, Codex. Codex is actually a sub-app inside ChatGPT in creating websites and apps for yourself. Now, this is something that would need someone that is a tech guru to do that, but you could actually use these softwares in doing all those things, even if you are not tech savvy. You just need to know the principles or the foundations of when it comes to creating those things, and then you're good to go. Now, generative AI is actually my niche. This is actually where I am more specialized in. Now, generative AI is content creation, text, images, video, and audio. Now, when I spoke about generative AI, I said that if you wanted to start making marketing stuff for yourself, for your businesses or for brands, or for anything at all, or let's just say, for example, you want to start a podcast for yourself and you do not have the necessary camera, studio, lighting, and setup, you can actually use AI in doing all those things. I don't know if you guys have come across any AI content on Facebook or TikTok. Now, basically, all those things those people do, they do not have the necessary setup for that. So they use AI in bridging that gap. So you can see it will take you a lot of time, like money, to buy all those cameras or sometimes hire a videographer. And if you don't have all those funds or the opportunity to do all those things, you will definitely have to rely on AI to do that. So you're going to provide your idea, and then it gives you exactly what you need. So moving over to the next slide, we have the industries that is already being transformed by AI. Now, I said that AI has gotten into the film, media production, advertising and marketing, graphic designing and branding. I mean, if I were to be very honest, if anybody wanted to pick graphic designing as a tech skill, I would discourage that person, because I would tell that person that if you're picking graphic design as a tech skill and you're not integrating AI into that, you're wasting your time. Because definitely, a company, if you were to apply for a job, a company would pick someone that knows how to use AI in generating graphic designing than someone that would rely on traditional tools like Canva and the rest. And all those tools actually now have AI integrated into it. So you could see that all those tools definitely are moving into that bubble. And I said we have music and entertainment. So yes, AI can now generate music and can now make music videos without you going to the studio. It's very possible. And then we have software development. I talk about creating apps on websites. And then customer service and automation. Now, I don't know if you guys, for example, may, let's just say you chat somebody up on his business WhatsApp, and someone just replies you immediately. This is automation. This is something that is done by AI. It is not that person that is replying you. It is AI that is doing the replying. And then you ask the person, you ask what you want, and then the person, that thing replies you. It is actually AI that is doing that thing. And that person might be asleep. AI will actually be doing the work of that person, to handling the businesses and all that stuff. And you will get to see when they will say, we will get back to you. That is where, that will now require a human input to now come and finish up the work. So then we have education and training system, which is actually what we'll be looking at more today. Now, education and training system, we have research and language model tools that has been able to help a lot of students when it comes to this sector. And actually, professors, lecturers, and researchers as well. I mean, we have research language tools, not just models, not just ChatGPT. We have Gemini, which is owned by Google. ChatGPT is owned by OpenAI. And then we have Claude, owned by Anthropic. And then we have Grok, which is owned by the richest man in the world right now, Elon Musk. Now, all these research and language model tools, actually, this is where definitely that they really help when it comes to education and training system. For example, let's just say you wanted to research on something and you don't have the luxury to start going to libraries or something like that, or maybe you have a very tight deadline. I mean, with ChatGPT and all the other apps I mentioned, you can actually get what you need. But that does not mean that you still do not have to go through the output. Of course you have to, because in everything that AI does, it works on data that is being fed into it. So if there's anything incorrect, it is your responsibility to always go through any output that is given by AI, because the way AI works is that it works with patterns. So if it works with this pattern and it is corrected on this pattern, it improves on it. So it is more like a software that improves day by day based on each experience it gets. So that's why I say that it's going through a lot of phase. And then the next slide, we will be looking at the common misconceptions about AI. Now, many people will say that AI is here to replace human beings, which is actually not true. I mean, we've seen a lot of things people have said before. And when internet came into the world, people say what they said about internet. When social media came, people say what they said about social media. When 5G came, people say what they said about 5G. Now, look at all of us. We are already using internet. We're already using social media, and some of us already have 5G phones that we are using. So that's so many things that a lot of conspiracies will come up whenever something new like comes into the world. There is always these conspiracy theories or anything that will start moving around just to bring up negative agenda or propaganda to dismantle what that thing has to offer. So then they now said AI is only for tech experts. That's not true. I mean, I'm not even a tech person. I do not know anything about graphic design. I don't know anything about creating apps or websites. But definitely, I have been able to understand how to use all those tools effectively in anything that I am doing. When it comes to Microsoft Excel or anything, something that will take someone like 1 hour or 2 hours to organize, with just a click of what I need, I will get those things done within 5 to 10 minutes. So it's actually something that when I was done with school and I was looking for something to venture into, okay, what tech skill am I going to learn? Because that is the kind of like, the whole bubble, the new phase, the new oil money, as they normally call it. So as I was coming across all those things, I got to see that those things that I wanted to learn, there was already another software that was doing it way better. So, and one thing about the world is very flexible. We do not stay in one phase. Like, once this phase is done, it moves to the next phase. And if you're not flexible like this, you will be left behind. And then AI creates everything on its own. Now, like I said, AI do not create everything on its own. You actually have to, engage with it, give it your input, treat it like a tool that you want to use, and it gives you your output. It may not give you the correct thing at first, but with time, it learns how you react. Now, the way I use AI and the way you use AI will not be the same thing, and it will never give us the same answer. Because of what? Because of how we paraphrase our words or how we say our ideas. It gives us based on that. That is why AI will never give two people the same answer. It will give you different things. They may be relating, but it will be very different. Because of what? It feeds on billions of data around the world before it gives you any information. Now, the reality of AI and work. Now, AI is not replacing jobs. It is replacing tasks, not people. And I also say that if you are doing something, let's just say maybe you create UGC content for brands and you don't know how to use AI, companies now are laying people off. I don't know if you guys come in contact with when Meta laid a lot of people off. Amazon laid a lot of employees off, like 16,000 people off. This was because of the emergence of AI, because of the fact that AI was already coming into the industry and the company wanted to cut costs. So what they will normally do is that they would pick people that have the experience with using AI and then, lay off other people that do not. That was why a lot of layoffs were happening in all these big companies, because they are already like moving into the AI space, because a company would cherish speed and accuracy over anything, and also profit and them not spending too much money on anything. So then the real shift is that those who use AI will multiply their output, and those who ignore AI become less competitive over time. The advantage is no longer access to scale. It is speed plus adaptability. Now, if you want to, anything that you are doing and you are not integrating AI into your workflow, it's going to affect you. Because, for example, let's just say you have a very tight deadline, or you have a client that you want to submit something to, and you're not meeting to your deadline. If you're not using AI to do that, it's going to affect your performance. And I'm pretty sure that in companies, if you're working for a company, you are being rated based on your performance, and they look at your performance. And most job these days, if you look at their requirements now, they are integrating AI as a skill requirement. It's no longer, oh, do you know how to do graphic design? No, if you look at most job board, if you go to, I don't know for Nigeria, but if you go for most job board around the world, one of their requirements is if you know how to use AI. If you do not, definitely they will not be able to take you. And in some of these jobs, it is no longer human beings that do interview. It is now AI. Because I was opportune to have an interview with a company called Rocket Moving in Los Angeles. They actually deal on moving people moving people properties to the new apartment. So I actually had an interview, me and my friend, with them. It was not actually a human being that interviewed us. It was actually AI that interviewed us. I did not get the job actually because I was not expecting that. So the questions were very, very, very technical. So it is something that a human being would not ask you, but of course it actually came from AI. And I was not seeing anybody on the screen. I was just seeing a voice, like a automated system speaking. So it was not sounding like a human being. That was when I got to know that that was actually AI. Because tell me why I am having an interview on Saturday that is not work day. Yes. And a lot of people will be like, they will submit their email, their resume, and then they'll be getting rejection. Actually, the people that read your emails these days are no longer human beings. It's actually AI. There's something that we call ATS. Now, whenever you're submitting your resume to a company, before it gets to the company's folder, there is an AI that reads your resume. Now, if the keywords that is relating to that job role that you're going for, if the keywords are not in that resume, your resume enters the trash immediately. So the ones that make it to the company's folder are the ones that will actually be attended to. So a lot of us use LinkedIn. I would suggest people not to be using LinkedIn to be applying for jobs because that place is very saturated. A lot of us use LinkedIn, Indeed, maybe when you're applying for like jobs. There are actually better ways to do that. I mean, AI definitely can give you access to any company website, even the CEO or the founder of any company's email address. There's an AI tool for that called Apollo, which you can actually use to maybe pitch or send your emails. That's actually the best way to kind of like overcome or pass that bridge whereby company use AI to access people's resume before it gets to their folder. Now, the next slide. Definitely, I already say that I am a creative visual artist and things like that. But let's move to the next slide, actually. I'll be showing you guys how I integrate AI into my workflow. Now, I have done some things, like I've created some stories, I've done some content, I've done some graphic designing. Now, like I said, I do not have any skill in graphic designing. I know nothing about graphic designing. I never have gone for a class or for anything like that for graphic designing. Now, how I integrate AI into my workflow is that concept development and storytelling, AI-generated visual design, video generation and enhancement, post-production refinement, and brand adoption and delivery. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware, but, photography is actually dying in the industry right now. I mean, if you actually want to take a picture of yourself and you don't have the money to pay a photographer, you can actually get a very realistic picture of yourself on any location, on any place, in any dress that you actually want. Now, all you just need to do is that you just have to send AI a clear picture of yourself and then give it an idea, and it generates a picture of you in that place. So that's why I said photography is actually dying. A lot of people would spend thousands to go to the studio to take pictures, but if you look at I don't know if you guys are very active on social media. Most pictures that you see on social media are now AI generated. If it's not, even the photographers themselves, after taking pictures, they actually use AI to amplify everything, change your background, change your facial texture, your skin texture, and a whole lot of things. Because even photographers know that AI is actually coming for their jobs, and the smart ones are already integrating it into their workflow, which is something that is very crazy. So the next slide, I'm going to be showing you guys a few things. Okay, so now this graphic design I did was was a pastor in Abia State actually. Now this was something that I did. I had no skill or anything, and it just took me 5 to 10 minutes to generate this. Now imagine, for example, you're working for a brand or for a company or something like that. Now, and you did this and submitted. No one will be able to tell that this was done by AI. There is no watermark. There is nothing on it that for you to know that anything was done with AI. You can see the text, you can see the typography and everything. It's very clear. You cannot tell actually that this was done with AI. And the person I did this for never knew I did it with AI and something like that until days later. I actually told him that I actually did it with AI so that he would be aware of, what I do. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about speed and accuracy. Now, if you can generate graphic design for any company or for anybody within 5 to 10 minutes, trust me, the company would want to, retain you or keep you because of the fact that you know how to solve a problem immediately. Now, AI is all about solving problem. Now, if you can solve people's problem immediately, then definitely you can actually make money out of it, or you can actually become valuable amongst other people that it will take them time to do that thing. Although, yes, they are experienced. It's something that they've learned. It's something that, they've gone classes for. But those things that will take them months or years to learn is something that you were able to do just using your phone under 5 to 10 minutes. And trust me, the company or anybody would actually want to work with someone that can provide solution and accuracy within a short time frame. Now, moving over, I would also want to show another one. Okay, we'll let that get. Okay, we already have another one. This is something that I did for someone. Let's just, if it's not showing full, let's just show it from here. Now, this is actually me. Over there is actually me, because this was when I was kind of like experimenting, because I'm this kind of person that I always experiment with I give myself different tasks and I experiment. Now, the second one was someone that I did for a friend who is actually into laundry. So you could see that's actually him and that's his business. So definitely I was able to do all these things with AI within 5 to 10 minutes. Now, if it is a graphic designer, it's going to take that person, let's just say, a maximum of 2 hours. That is if the person is like tech savvy. Some, it could take them a day to actually be able to do all this, because you have to first of all pick the right colors, pick the right typography, and pick all those things that are needed before you be able to do that. And you could actually see it says stay clean with a big laundry services. Now, this is something that is very clear. It already has the person's name, and then has the CTA, which is down here. And then this is something that I was actually kind of like experimenting. I was kind of like creating something with McDonald's. So I was kind of like, trying to see how I can incorporate what McDonald's is all about. And then that was how I was able to get all this output. So let's move on to the next slide, which is this one. Now you can see this is Indomie. Now this is me. So I used myself as kind of like, a model and kind of like creating this. Now this is kind of like, Indomie did not hire me for this actually. This was actually like an experiment or something like that. So now this is, like I said, was done by me. And then this also was for another customer that's into wristwatch and something like that. So I made this for him. And then this is for Milo. Again, Milo did not hire me for this. I just was experimenting. Now let's move over to the brands I've actually worked with. So then this is Rocket Moving. So we're going to be playing this video. This is actually an advertisement video for the company I kind of like interviewed for, but I did not get the job. So, but my friend did. My friend actually did get the job. So I kind of like walk behind the scenes. So he does, like, when it comes to marketing visuals, I do the work for him, and then he takes the credits. Yeah, something like that. So can we play the video, actually? You can play, actually. Okay, so moving to the next one. This is actually a film, a short film that I actually made. I just wish we would have been able to see it, but definitely we can play it. And then the next one is actually another experimental film that I made. Then the next one is for the second brand that I'm working for in UK, which is actually called Oya Media. So now, with everything that I've been able to do so far, I do not have any skills in writing. I do not have any skills in graphic designing. I do not have any skills in videography. I don't have any skills in all those things. I did not go to any school for all those stuff, but I was able to make this within 5 to 10 minutes, and it has been able to help me to see things differently, because I've been able to understand that in so many things that we are doing now, if we are not moving with the trend, then definitely we are going to be left behind, because we are in a flexible world, and this is not the time to be rigid. You have to be flexible all the time. It's always a time for you to test out new things, because those new things are what you're going to be using to, to scale yourself in productivity, visibility, and anything that you're doing. So moving over, I will now be discussing, let's move to the next slide. Let's move to the next one, though. So now, I've showed you guys what, how AI has been able to help with content creation, knowledge creation, and whatnot. I've talked about generating images, producing videos. I didn't know why the video was not playing, but accelerating design workflows, whereby I talked about you'll be able to make design for yourself faster. I mean, if you know how to use AI, there's no need for you paying a graphic designer, actually. You are saving costs for yourself. You're also saving time for yourself, and you're enhancing productivity for yourself. And you can actually, if you start using, let's just say you have a business that you're doing, you could be in anything, in any factor. If you know how to use AI, that your business is going to scale very fast without you having to, maybe pay for a graphic designer, or pay someone that will advertise your product for you, or pay somebody that will do this or do that. You'll be able to do all those things yourself. Now, moving over, then we'll now move into, the theme of what we have today, which is about, the next slide, please. Okay. It's not changing. Okay, so which is where AI research meets understanding from text to trusted referencing. Now, this is where we're going to focus on, because it matters in the educational industry. Now, in educational industry, it's changing. Big schools abroad are already integrating AI into their workflows. Yes, there is an AI that you can actually use to tell if a student use AI. There's actually an AI for that you can actually use to tell if a student use AI. For example, maybe the student use AI in all of his work. And there's also an AI that you can use to change your AI into a human work. So, exactly. So now all these things are things that a lot of people know how to do. And if you watch content, you see people talking about how they wrote an essay with just AI, and the lecturer gave them a 90% or something like that. Now, what most of them do is that once they generate it with AI, they also use AI to make it sound like what a human being wrote, to kind of escape them being detected that they use AI. So most schools actually use AI tools to figure out if you wrote your exam work with AI. So what they do is that they take your work and then they paste it, and then the AI will detect if this was written by AI. Now, students have found another tools to be able to escape that detection. So exactly, that's what I'm saying, that AI always keeps improving. So now the future of AI is not just generating content or something like that. It is helping people find credible information, organize knowledge, validate sources, and build trustworthy research. Now, as I said before, that AI works on billions of data. Now, if we look around the world, there are billions, or if possible, trillions of data scattered around the world. Now, something that you think that, it will take you time to figure it out. Once you ask AI questions about that, it researches on data based on the keyword that is being given to it. Now, that is where Tweakrr itself comes in. Now, Tweakrr is an AI company that I am currently working with, or I have been working with since the beginning of this year. So it's actually a Nigerian company, actually, because this is actually the only Nigerian company that I am working with at the moment. So it is revolutionizing academic research with artificial intelligence, which is AI-powered referencing, citation, management, research, and assistance. So now, basically, what it is saying that I actually did my finals here, so I know how strenuous and frustrating it was trying to get the right citations and references and something like that. I did not even come in contact with Tweakrr until beginning of this year. Trust me, if I had seen Tweakrr, I would have used Tweakrr for my project, and I am not even going to be ashamed of it, actually. So now it said that Tweakrr is an AI-powered academic research and referencing platform designed to help students, researchers, educators, and institutions transform raw information into properly referenced academic work. So instead of you spending hours, you're formatting citations, you're trying to find if it's the right one, building bibliographies, users can focus on what truly matters. Now, all you just have to do is worry less about your citation, worry less about your references or bibliographies and whatnot. All you just have to do is, get your project work done. If you have to use AI, no problem. Get your AI, your project work done, and then Tweakrr will handle your citation references. Now, some of you might be saying, oh, ChatGPT can do that, Gemini can do that. Well, actually, what ChatGPT or Gemini will be able to do, it is going to give you a recommendation. It is not going to format your citations and references. Now, what Tweakrr normally does, the next slide, please. So what Tweakrr normally does is that, before we get to that, let's talk about the problem, actually, that a lot of people are facing. Now, academic writing is often slowed because of the fact that manual referencing, like I said, citation formatting errors. For example, maybe you made mistake in your citations and then you're being reverted to take your project back and work on it again, the citations. Then the inconsistent bibliography styles, time-consuming source verification, difficult finding credible academic references, then you spending hours. Because definitely sometimes maybe the lecturer will be like, okay, use Chicago, use Harvard, or use APA, MLA, IEE, all these citation styles, definitely. And, before you would be able to find the right one that would serve consist. Maybe let's just say that the lecturer says you should use Chicago. Before you be able to find the right one that will, consistently and run across to your project, time is passing. And then you get frustrated and things like that. So let's move over to the next slide, please. So I would have loved us to hear from my CEO, actually, but it said that the video is not actually playing. Okay. because it's appalling that most of these AI tools are being made by China and the US, and it's kind of like, very ironically, because the fact that China and US are actually fighting against each other, and AI is actually one of the ways they're actually doing that, because most AI tools are being owned by US and China. So, but it's really, 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 I'm really, really glad that I'm seeing that there are people in Nigeria that are kind of like building something for themselves. And the fact that, Tweakrr is kind of like one of those tools is something that I feel like we should be proud of. It's something that I feel like we should also integrate into our schools, because a lot of us use ChatGPT and Gemini, which is actually cool and is actually good because it's up to the task. But I'm sure that as we are using theirs, we can also be using ours too as well. So moving over to the next slide. Now we'll be playing this video. This is actually a visual video that I made for Tweakrr. Now, I was not in any studio. I did not use any videographer for this. I just did this myself. So let's play, please. To hire a videographer or anything. Now, this was actually done with this phone. I did not do anything special. I did not like go to any studio or anything. That's not actually me. That's like an AI clone version of myself. Now you can actually see our voices are identical. There is no AI, maybe kind of like voice on that, because that's actually like an AI digital clone of myself. I just, used my phone with a few ideas and few prompts, and I was able to generate those marketing, those marketing visuals that you're seeing there. Now, this is something that companies will pay millions of, naira for someone to do it for them, and then for them to be able to post. Now, this is something that I did for Tweakrr, and this is actually one of the reasons why they kind of like hired me. So now, the key features of Tweakrr. Now it says AI citation generation, whereby it automatically generates your citation while writing. Now, when you mean by AI citation generation is, for example, maybe you wrote a 5,000 words. Now, what you do is that you take that 5,000 words in Google document, because it only accepts Word document or plain text. Once you take those projects in Google Word document and then you paste it inside the website of the Tweakrr, it will first of all read your project. Now, it will read your project, the keywords in your project. It will go and research on on references, on citations based on that project that you did. And it will put those citations alongside your project. You don't have to start writing it down, take it to someone to go and type. It will put it, that's why I say that it only takes Google Word document. It's going to insert those citations alongside in that your project work. It's going to insert it for you. The references is also going to put it at the back at the end of your project. All you just have to do is download and go and print and go and submit. You don't have to do anything much there actually. So this is actually like, the fastest way and the tools that people use for that. Now, smart source recommendation, which is suggest relevant academic references. Now, like I said, AI works on trillions of data that are outside. So there is no topic that you want to talk about that someone has not made a an output on. So what it does is that it researches on those trillions of data and then uses the keywords in your project to get the accurate citations. You can actually check it yourself, like maybe after doing all those stuff, then you will see that all those things are actually correct. Now, automatic bibliography creation. Now, builds complete reference list instantly. Like I said, now once you are done, you don't need to start putting anything inside again. What it does is that in that your document, it inserts everything there. You just download and just go and print out your work and then go and submit and then go and sleep if you want to sleep, actually. Now, we have the multiple citation style, which is what supports major academic formats. Now, when you put in your project work, you decide on the citation style you want to go for. Maybe your lecturer said, oh, okay, please use Chicago, only Chicago, right? So you will now tell your Tweakrr they want to go for Chicago, right? Or maybe it says use Harvard, use MLA, APA, IEE, or other institutional citation styles that you want. All you just have to do is, impute the citation style that you want, and then it works with that consistently through your project work. So moving over to the next slide. So it now says, how does Tweakrr likely works? Now, based on the workflow described on the website, all you just have to do is upload your document. Now, Tweakrr only works with just words. You cannot upload any project work that has graphic or images with it. It just works on just Word documents. It has to be just plain words, no graphic or no images. It won't be able to work on that because it's not trained to work on that. So now what you just have to do is you upload your thesis, your assignment, journal article, research paper, academic document. The documents may already contain facts, claims, and academic decisions. It works with that and then works with the billions of data that is outside the world and then be able to give you your desired output. So moving over, we have step 2. It analyzes your text. Now, like I said, for example, when you use ChatGPT to generate something, ChatGPT will normally recommend. But this one, what it normally does is that, it reads your document. And then for ChatGPT to be able to do this, you would actually have to, prompt it in a way for it to do that. But this one, it is trained for it to do it. So for ChatGPT to be able to give you what it needs, you have to prompt it for it to do that. And for someone that, that is not tech savvy, you don't know anything about it, you would actually want a situation whereby you work with an AI that is trained for this specific tool. Now, ChatGPT is trained for so many things, researching, language tools, prompting, building of website and whatnot, right? So you need something that is tailored to what you need. So now, it says, Tweakrr scans your document. It identifies the key concepts, your academic statement, claims requiring support, existing references, and citation opportunities. Now, this is where it uses what we call natural language processing. Now, natural language processing means definitely normal words that AI could definitely understand. That is what it uses, the data being fed on it to kind of create those citations that you will need, and then it will be imputed into your project work. Now, for example, you said that the AI it tends to understand what is this paragraph discussing. Now, when I say that it reads every single thing on your project, what each paragraph is talking about, what each chapter is talking about, and then it generates those citations relevant for that output or for that image or for that topic, actually. Now, let's move over to the next one. Now, it says citation matching. Then the platform tends to attempt to connect the content with relevant scholarly references. Now, its privacy policies mentions the use of trusted citation database for sourcing references, suggesting that it does not simply invent citations, but performs matching against external reference sources. Now, before it does anything, it would kind of check that this is actually correct. This is something that is in their privacy policy, whereby it makes use of trusted citation database, because there are actually database that contains factual where you can actually check on a citation if it's actually correct. So it uses that feature to be able to create the correct citation. Now, like I say, conceptually, all you just need to do, you add your text, your project, it extracts your topic, which is the first keyword, and then use your topic to search on any reference database search. Let's just say that your topic is what is internet, you're talking about what is internet, it takes that what is internet and then researches on topics that has been discussed about internet. Then it will not check the correct citation and then match it with what other people have discussed about internet, based on, maybe it could be on journals, it could be on articles, or even anything at all. And then it brings those citations and then look at those citations that are very correct and then input it on your what is internet project. Now, reference generation, which is actually putting all those generated citations on all of them at the back, the correct ones at the back of at the end of your project, which makes it actually make sure that all these things are correct before it generates and then gives you your last output, which you can go and download. Now, citation style formatting. Now, once references are identified, Tweakrr formats them according to the selected style. Now, like I said, before you start generating, you have to pick up the style that you need, depending on what is being given to you by the lecturer or the professor. Now, this is one of the easiest parts, technically, but one of the most time-consuming tasks for students manually. Now, writing a project is not really that hard, because if I'm given a project to write now, I'll be able to do it under a day if I'm to use AI. But where I will have a major problem is the citation and the referencing, because that is where you will now have to manually start imputing things yourself, formatting things yourself, and things like that. So this is actually the stressful part, which is where Tweakrr kind of takes off the burden for you, and then you can just go and submit your work. So let's move on to the next. Now, step 5, automatic reference list generation. What Tweakrr then, it creates in-text citation, build the bibliography, organize the references, apply consistent formatting throughout the document. Now, when it means organize references, it starts from the citations and references that are being generated from chapter 1. It will organize them in their structure them in a way that you will see from chapter 1 down to the last chapter that you wrote in your project. It won't just scatter the reference of the site or references at the end. No, everything will be organized in a structured way, starting from chapter 1 down to the last chapter. So it is something that you don't really need to worry about, if it's going to organize it. It's actually going to do that. All you just have to do is download the project and then go and print it. Now, how does it produce accurate references? Now, accuracy, likely it comes in 3 layers, whereby understanding, which I've mentioned here, when it reads your context, it understands what you are trying to talk about. Then once it understands what you're trying to talk about, it will now go and research on that. Now, I give an example here. I say the impact of social media on academic performance. Now, it understands social media, which is the keyword, academic performance, another keyword, students' behavior, and then education research. It already knows what this thing is all about. This is a research that is based on education. So it already knows what it's all about and how social media is impacting it. So what is going to do now? It is going to go into the trillions of data that has been written on anything concerning these keywords. So it goes to get information on that. And then once it gets information on that, it then reads your content. It will read the content. It will first of all get information on this. Then it will now read your own content and then now understand where each citation is going to come in. Now, like I said, it is going to impute that citation itself into your Word document. Now, layer 2 is reference database matching. The platform states it uses trusted citation database. This database contains real publication metadata. So instead of generating fake paper titles, it attempts to match content against existing references. For example, now, when I use that impact of social media on academic performance, that thing you are writing is your original content. So it looks at other people's content that have written something similar to what you're saying, where they generated their citations from. Match their citations and check if it is correct, and then check how it relates to your own. Now, if they are the same thing, it will generate a citation that is from those sources that they copied from into your own. If it's not, then it goes directly back to those sources to generate a citation for you. So that's why I call that database matching. It works on the database that is around the internet to be able to give you the accurate citation. Now, all these things, it is going to do it in under 2 minutes. Now, it definitely might look like as if maybe as I'm explaining it, it's going to take time for it to generate. No. Like in under 2 minutes, it has done all these things that I'm saying. I'm just trying to explain it step by step so that you understand what I am saying. Now, layer 3, citation rules engine. After references are found, a formatting engine applies the rules for the APA, the MLA, Chicago, Harvard, and IEE. It understands how each citation works, how it is being applied. So let's just say, for example, you chose any of these citations over here. It already knows the principles and foundation surrounding each citation, and it uses that in applying those citations into your work. So moving over, this is exactly where you have to place your document. Now, he said we only accept document files. You don't have to put anything that has, if you put anything that has image, it will not generate it because of the fact that it is trained to only work on Word documents as for now. So now, all you say that it upload your raw drafts, our AI scans your sources and formats everything instantly. Now, it is said that academic standards are global, so is Tweakrr. Now, actually, Tweakrr is not only used by Nigerians, it is also used by the UKs, the Germany, and the US. Now, Tweakrr aligns research with global academic expectations instantly. We are actually kind of like growing because we've actually expanded into so many other countries too as well. So basically, this is what the usage of Tweakrr is. Next slide. And then we have Tweakrr AI format citations automatically into your preferred styles. Now you could see definitely that all those styles are actually written here. Now each citation style have different structure on which it follows. So it already understands the references and all that, and then gives you the accurate one to that. The next slide, please. Now, good research fails every day, not because your ideas are bad or because the thinking is weak, but because citations are wrong. Actually, I think they do. Where most students have problem is their citations and references. They might have a very good project, but once the citations and references are really not consistent or vague or not very accurate, that is actually one of the things that kind of like strikes them down or make their work look so bad. So now Tweakrr fixes what breaks great research. So now moving over to the next slide, we will be discussing about okay. So I wanted to show you guys a way that you can actually use a live demo screen recording account that I did, and how this actually works. So we'll actually wait for the video to appear so we can actually look into it. So let's not be playing it so fast so that each section I'll let you tell you where you're going to stop. And so just pause it. So now, can we go back a bit? Can we go back a bit? Can we go back, like take it back a bit? Yeah, pause it. So now you could see this is like a plain word on a topic. Now what normally does is that this is what you just need to copy and paste. You can play. This is just what you need to copy and paste inside Tweakrr. Now this is like a live screenshot that I actually did. So we entered into Tweakrr website, and then once we get into Tweakrr website, we'll click on Cite It Here. You can play. Click on Cite It Here, and then you paste that document inside here. So this is exactly what I'm showing. The document, I got it, and then I place it inside here. Pause it, please. And then once the document is inside here, you can see the topic has already been highlighted here. The topic of that project has already been highlighted here. So it is going to read all this thing first. Play. It's going to read all this thing first, and then you put the citations that is needed. You put the topic, the name of your topic. You put the level of citations that is here. For example, let's just say maybe you are a student. Level of citation is for students are here. You are a professor. Level of citation for professors are here. Maybe you are doing your PhD. Level of citations for people that are doing the PhD is here. So we already know that citation levels for students or professors or researchers are not the same. So it already understands, you have to tell it that you are a professor. So it will give you a standard citations for professors. You have to tell that you're a student. It will give you a standard citation for a student. So that's what it means by level of citations. Now, if you have any special instruction that you want to add, you can add it over here. For example, like telling it, okay, you can tell it use only journal articles, or my professor is extremely picky about page numbers. You have to tell that AI, pause it please. You have to tell that AI what exactly your professor is looking for. So you have to give it to that AI, and the AI will work based on your professor's desired output. Now, this is where it says citation in progress. Now, what it's doing now, it is reading your text while it is generating the citations that is based on what you need. You can play. So this is actually what it is doing. It is generating those citations. Now, this will actually take 3 minutes, and then you are done, and you get your citations. Okay. So now it says your citations ready for inspection. Now you can see that it has generated the citation, which you can actually go through yourself because it has actually done it. So it is saying your citation is already ready for inspection, whereby you have to go through it if you want to. So now play. So you can see where it says the citations has already been generated. You can see accept, then accept all. What it is trying to show you here is that it has generated your citations. You can now look into it and check it yourself. Then if you're okay with it, you can now click on accept. It will enter into your Google Word document. Now you can see where it says it gives you the damage report, it gives you the time saved, it gives you the cost breakdown, it gives you the citation magic and the incorrect citations. It lets you know the incorrect things and the correct things, and then tells you that it has separated the incorrect things from the correct things, and then the correct things will go into your Word document. So this is more like a transparent AI research tools. Anything that it's doing, it shows you before it moves to the final output for you to actually cross-check it. So then you now see where you say complete my citation transformation. You just click on it. You will just click on it, and then it says citation perfection achieved. Download your citation masterpiece, and that's it. You are actually done, and everything will be, just play. Everything, you can see it here, is included here, 2021, it's here. Everything will be included, and you just go and print it out. And then also your references will be here. You can see, you don't have to manually start imputing it yourself. Everything will be here at the end of the project, and all you just have to do is just go and print it and then go and submit. Now, to be able to use all these products, actually, is something that a lot of us have thought about, and the company has come up in a way to make it very affordable for everybody. Now, we have the Tweakrr pricing plan, which is what the pay-as-you-go plan. Now, this is, like I said, this is something that is affordable for anybody, a student or a researcher, a professor, and whatnot. Now, we have the pay-as-you-go plan, whereby you pay 1,500 per document. Now, this definitely is for students with occasional assignments. Maybe you have an assignment that you just want to do so fast, and then you are required to put citation. You can actually go for this plan. Final year project students and users who don't need a monthly subscription, you can actually pay as you go is a one-time payment. You pay it once to use it, and if you come back to it, you have to pay once again to use it. So this actually does for students that kind of don't want to waste much money. Now, it is said that this plan accepts only 2,000 word document. Now, if the project you're writing is above 2,000 word document, then this plan is not for you. Now, one-time payments per document, instant AI-powered referencing, no subscription commitment, full access to citation tools. Now, even though the fact that it is limited to just 2,000 Word documents, you still have access to citation tools, any citation tools that you want to do. But the only problem here is that it is limited to just 2,000 Word documents, and once you pay for it, you use it, and then you cannot use it again until you pay again to use it. So actually, this is kind of like just for students that just want a quick output. Then the next one is the monthly plan, which is something that maybe anyone that is doing his master's or PhD or even researchers can go for, which is actually like 5,000 per month. Now, it is said that it is best for active students, researchers, academic writing, postgraduate students. Then what's included is now this is where you can upload unlimited number of documents. Now, the other one was just 2,000 Word document, but this one can accept so many Word documents. So if your Word document is up to 10,000, 50,000, this one can take it. Now, they said unlimited document upload, AI-powered citations, multiple citation style, priority processing, then ideal for users working on multiple assignments. And this is, for example, that maybe those people that write projects for people, they want to like write projects for you and do fast. This is kind of like the pricing plan they will want to go for, because there are agencies that write articles and projects for people actually. So this is kind of like the tools that will kind of like work definitely for them without them having to manually do everything themselves. Now moving over to the next one, we have the enterprise plan, which is the 70,000 per year. And this one is, for example, you want to have access to the platform for a full year. You actually pay 70,000 for that, which is best for what? Universities. Now, this is possibly maybe universities and research institutions, academic departments, writing agencies, and research teams. Now, everything in the monthly plan. You also get dedicated support, team collaboration features, and custom integrations. For example, whenever the company is bringing in new feature or new development into their plan, these are the first people that will get their hands on it before the other subscribers. So that is what they mean by dedicated support, team collaboration features, custom integration, which is ideal for organizations that need referencing tools for multiple users and larger research projects. Now, this is something that, that is kind of like a new innovation that is changing the world, that is changing the educational sector. A lot of people are moving so fast, and Tweakrr is part of that movement. And I will implore that this is something that the universities, research institutions should take up, because the reasons why this is happening is because we want to produce graduates and students that will be able to compete in the job market, because the job market right now, it's changing a whole lot of things. A lot of people now don't go for physical jobs. A lot of youths right now are not going for physical jobs. A lot of people are going for remote jobs. I'm actually a freelancer, so I work remotely, and I understand what it is working for companies that will not see your worth. So if it's something like, if the universities can be able to kind of like put this in their curriculum, it could be an extra curriculum activity, kind of like in a way of training their students for something. Because to be very honest, the things we learn in school, some of them are not applicable in the outside world, because of the fact that a lot of things have changed. The way we see things have changed. It seems like the educational system is becoming rigid instead of flexible, because the educational system is supposed to be flexible, whereby when new things comes, it changes and adapts to those things. Because if we keep on focusing on a stipulated curriculum or something like that, the world is moving so fast that even when you are done, you will feel like you never went to school, because of the fact that you were seeing your mates are moving so fast in so many things. So Tweakrr is actually one of those movements. So we'll be going back to the previous videos that actually did not play, so that I'll be able to show you guys so many other things. So we'll be starting with this. So this, like I said, was a video that I made for my friend that actually got a job with a Los Angeles moving company. We actually went for the interview, did the interview online with an AI actually for this job. So he got it, I did not, because of the fact that what they were looking for was not something I had at the time. So definitely I used AI to figure it out, And yeah, so he got the job, and then what the company was asking for was something I already had. So you could see at that time, something that the company wanted, I did not have it. And then what the company needed from him, I already had it. So for that, I charged him for this. This video I made I charged him for this because this was the company was looking for a marketing strategy that they were going to use in across the US. So actually, I made this for him, which he submitted, and it is actually on the company's website at the moment. So can we play the video, please?
Actually research on more about the company to be able to create this video. Now let's check the other one. Now this was actually a film test that I did when I was I was interviewing for the company I was working for, a UK brand called Udechukwu that I'm currently working for. So this was kind of a test sample, because one thing about working for brands, they will require you to do a test sample for them, which you would submit. So I was given a topic on no original thoughts. So I decided to use myself as the model here while talking about what no original thought is. Now, no original thought is really talking about the ideas that we think that we have right now. It is something that someone else has already talked about it. Just that it is kind of different, but it's relatively the same. So we'll be looking at that actually, which is this. Before anything is created, everything already exists. We just moved from it. I thought I had run out of ideas. Everything started to feel familiar. Like I wasn't creating, just remembering, or worse, repeating. So I stopped trying to find something new because it was already everywhere I looked. Even in me. In me. Maybe nothing was ever new. Only seen again through different eyes. No original thoughts. So, this was actually one of the test samples that they gave me when I was kind of interviewing with them. So I was actually asked to make something on that, it's kind of like a reflective content on no original thoughts, whereby a painter was actually going through so many things that he has done and seeing that so many works that he has made is something that someone else has also been able to do, and he came up with this, realization that there is nothing like an original thought. What you were thinking about is something that someone already has done or is still thinking about doing. So now this one actually was also another test sample that they asked me to make about a bartender working in a hotel, a mixologist working in a hotel. So they were actually trying to test my capabilities and my strength to figure out how fast can I be able to deliver. So this was kind of one of the it's actually a UK brand. So another thing that they do there is that they test how fast and accurate can you get the job done within the deadline or something like that. So let's also play this one. So actually, I was actually performing all these things while I was on the interview with them. It was actually crazy because I was thinking that probably maybe they would tell me, okay, you can do it and then submit. They were like, when I was interviewing with them, they were like, can you make this while doing an interview with us and share your screen so we see how you integrate your workflow. So I was actually sharing my screen while I was on the interview with my laptop, telling them how I would be able to make the video. So then, when I started working with them, I now came up with this, because there was a fashion campaign that they were working for. They were actually working for, trying to, produce. That was where this came up. Now you can see the way it says Oya Media Presents. So I actually made this for them too as well. Play. So actually, I also had some challenges because of I noticed that the way the Nigerian media and the UK media presents, their media are actually very different. So you can actually see that there was nothing happening here. It was just disseminating their information with text. So this was actually something that I noticed so many gaps when it comes to media or advertising. I noticed that the industry that when a lot when it comes to making media or advertising, there's a whole lot of gaps when it comes to Nigeria in their way of advertising, and it's something that I feel like a lot of Nigerian media companies should pick up, because some advertisement does not need to be loud. Some advertisement can actually be done when the information is being conveyed subtly without you being so loud about it. So this is kind of like one of the techniques and something like that. So I want us to look at the last video, and after that, I think I have been able to like show everyone the things that you can actually do with AI and how AI has moved into the industry. And so let's go with the last one. You are not enough. You are not ready. You will fail. Are you okay? Just nervous for the game. Take it will feel much better. Red Bull? Really? Wow. It's unbelievable. He's pushing it. Just nervous for the game. You are not enough. You are not ready. You will fail. Incredible shot the line. He's absolutely flying. That control is unreal. Actually, so this is the last of it, and this is actually another experimental video that was actually trying to see if I could come up with a proposal Because I was trying to make a proposal for Red Bull, actually, because I was targeting Red Bull. There was something that they were doing